Hi everyone. Hello. So the topic for today is multiple graphs, which is a topic of data interpretation. So basically, every time we solve a graph, we are given a particular graph, and some data is provided, and similarly, some questions are provided with respect to the data. And now, similarly, in multiple graphs, there are at least two or more than two graphs associated with each other in terms of data. And now what we have to do is we have to interpret it in such a manner that we have to connect the dots, like connecting the graphs with respect to the data given, and solve the following questions as per it. So such kind of questions usually come in exams like CAT. But if you talk about other exams, there are some questions with respect to multiple graphs, like CET, NMAT, but there is always, I guess, only one at max such questions are given. Okay, so let us try to look at this graph. This is a graph uh, from the CAT 2022. uh, you can read this given statements, try to analyze the graph, and then we'll start with the questions. Take 5 minutes of time, try to analyze all the four graphs given, and then we'll proceed. So let us start with the case. So what is given? This set is regarding mortality rate. Okay, so let us start with the first statement. A study to determine the mortality rate for a disease began in 1980. So if you look at the graphs, we have graphs ranging from 1990, 2000, 2010, 2020. So we don't have any data for 1980, but the data from which we have to start is 1980. So the base value or the base data for us will be 1980. Okay, the study chose 1000 males and 1000 females and followed them for 40 years until they died. Okay, whichever comes the first. The 1000 males chosen in 1980 consisted of 250 ages of 10 to less than 20. Okay, so now here the data starts from 20 to 30, which means if we start, so let us say the blue, okay, let us read first. 250 each for 10 to 20. Then for 20 to 30, we'll have 250, 30 to 40, 250, 40 to 50, 250. Now the 1000 females are also the same, 250 for each, 10 to 20 for 250, 20 to 30, 250, 30 to 40, 250, and 40 to 50, 250 each. So that is how they have distributed the thousand number. The four figures below depict the age profile of those among 2000 who were still alive. So the numbers mentioned with respect to the blue and pink in front of them is nothing but the number which is with respect to the people who are alive. Okay. So now moving on to the next question. The next line. The numbers next to be given, for example, 230 males were tracked and who were alive. So basically, we are given data from 1990 to 2020, and after that, the blue represents male, okay, and the pink represents female, and the data starts with 250 each, okay. So now, if I'm supposed to say, so if you have 10 to 20, this is male, female, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and 40 to 50. So each we have 250 over here, same 250 over here, 250 over here, 250 over here. Okay. So now the age group of 10 to 20 in 1980 will become the age group of 20 to 30 in 1990. So exactly what we have to do is we have to add 10 years. So similarly यहाँ पर जो 40 50 वाला है 1980 में, they will be definitely become 50 to 60, and similarly वही 50 to 60 60 70 हो जाएगा next graph में. Next graph में they will become around 70 to 80, and now here they will become 80 to 90. So we have to follow them as per the ages and as per the years that have been passed. So let us move on to the question. So how many individuals? So for your reference, I will write it down over here. 1980 ka data, this is 1980 ka data for 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. For this is for male, this is for female. As per data, each of them is equally distributed. 250, 250, 250, 250, 250, and 250. Okay. So now, what is the question given over here? How many individuals who were being tracked and who were less than the age of 30 years in 1980? So less than the age of 30 years in 1980, which means people who were of 10 to 20 age and 20 to 30 age. So this 250, 250, and again for 20 to 30, 250. So 1000 ka sample. We have this 1000 people who were below the age of 30 years in 1980. Now what we have to find out, survived until 2020. So survive until 2020, which means this 10 20. So suppose in 1980 here, now the ages of 20, 20 10 and 20 will become 20 30 over here. In the next group they will become 30 40 over here. In the next group they will become 40 50, and now they will become 50 60. So which means 50 60 ka group is nothing but 10 20 group of 1980. we'll simply add 40 years in them. Okay, and similarly, those who were 20-30 will become a group of 60-70. Okay, 60-70, just 20-30. Okay, from 1980 group. So there were 1,000 people. Okay, there were 1,000 people, and now we have the data over here, that is number of people alive. So just count it. For 50 to 60, that is 140 plus 100 becomes 240, and 125 plus 5, that is 130. Sorry, 230. So the total number of people alive from this batch, from this 1980 ka batch, which is 1,000 people ka set from 10, 20, 20 to 30, which have now become 50, 60, and 60, 70. So the answer is 470. So basically, what we have done, we have taken 1980 as a standard reference, that is 250 each from each group of ages, and each gender, that is male and female. Now we have only calculated their ages as per the years mentioned, and now we have got it as 1020 will become 50, 16, 20, 20, and 2030 will become 60, 70, and the data in front of them is the data that those people are alive. So this was our data. It is 470. So how many of the males who were being tracked, who were between 20 to 30 years of age in 1980, died in the period of 2000 to 2010? Okay, so we have to find out the mortality number. Okay, so right again, I will write it down. 1980 reference data, that is 10-20 age, 20-30, 30-40, and 40-50. So you have male, female. Okay, 250, 250, and 250. Okay, so this is the data, reference data for 1980. So the question given over here is only about males. So we have to only consider the blue lines who were being tracked and who were between 20 to 30. So 20 to 30, which means the number was 250. 250 in the age of in the year 1980 died in the period from 2000 to 2010. Okay, so how many people died we have to find out. So we have to find out the mortality number. Okay, so let us focus on the data. So the ones who were 20-30, okay, the number of males, they will become 30-40 in what, 1990. They will become 40-50 in what, 2000, and they will become 50-60 in which year, 2010. So first we had 250 males, so we'll calculate the data. So when 1990, 2000, 2010. Okay, so we started with 250. Now they were in the age group of 30 to 40. So in 1980, they were 20 to 30 age group. So now after 10 years, they will their ages will increase by 10. So they will become 30, 40. So we started with 250. Now we have 235, which means 15 died. This is point one. Next point is what? 40, 50. If you look at this number 40, 50 closely, how many is given? So we had, so 30 people died basically. And from here, if you have 40, 50, so now this 40, 50 will become nothing but 50, 60 in the next year. Okay, and we are asked only about males, okay, who are between 20, 30. Okay, so now this is 40. So from 2000, the present number was 2,205, and now the present number is 165. So from 2000 to 2010, 40 people died. So the mortality number is 40. So we are asked from the period of 2000 to 2010. Okay, so 2000 started with 205 and it ended with 165. So which means there is a 40 ka difference. So 40 number of people died during this period. Moving on to the next question. Again, I will write it down the data. 1980 from 10 to 20, 22, 21 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50. This is male, female, 250, 250, 250, same on, and similarly over here. Okay, all of them will be 250. How many of the females who were being tracked, who were between ages of 20, 30, okay, in 1980 died between the ages of 50, 60? So if they were 20, 30 in 1980, which means in 1990 they were 30, 40. Okay, again 10 years ka increase, they will become 40, 50. Again 10 years ka increase, they will become 50, 60. And again 10 years ka increase, they will become 60, 70. So which means they died. Okay, so they died in the ages of 50 and 60. So uh, how many of the females who were being tracked and who were between 20, 30? So 20, 30 in 1980. Okay, now they will become 30, 40, then 40, 50, then 50, 60, and 60, 70. Okay, so we have to find out how many of them died in the ages of 50 and 60. Okay, so just if you look at this figure represents us 50, 60 wala graph. Okay, so which means in the age of 40, 50, the females were 175. Okay, the females were 175 in the age of 40, 50. And by the end of 50, 60, by the end of 50, 60, they are 145, which means if I deduct 145, which means 30 female died in the age period of 50, 60. So the answer is mortality number is 30. Okay, so by the end of 40, 50, how many were alive? 175. And by the end of 50, 60, how many were alive? 40, 145, which means 30 people died when they started the age group of 50 to 60. They were 175, and when that period ended, we only had 145 left, which means 30 died. Ignore this question. This is a wrong question. So let's revise the set again. So the data was for, we started with the data of 1980, that is 250 male and female each of 10 to 20 age bracket, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50, and so on. So now with the with the years increasing by 10, 10, this 10 to 20 will become 20, 30, 30, 40, then 40, 50, then 50, 60. And similarly, those who were in already in 50, 60 will become 60, 70. They will then become 70, 80, and they will become 80, 90. So this was the 10, 10 year age increase. And following on that, we have solved questions. So this was a moderate set. There was nothing hard in it as such. but you have to just focus on the multiple data that was presented. So try to have a look at this data, read this entire data for 4 to 5 minutes, and then we'll start to solve. So there are two plots mentioned over here. So the first is regarding revenue and at the cost to run a company, and the next is employee strength, current employee strength, and new hires, that is new joinees added. So read the first line. The first plot shows the revenue and cost incurred by the companies during this year. For example, in 2021, so we have four companies A, B, C, D, E over 3 years, that is 19, 20, and 21. So we'll have 12 plot data. Okay, for example, in 2021, company C. Okay, let's find out where is company C 2021. Yes, over here. Okay, earned 100 crores. Yes, see the revenue is 100 crores. Yes, it matches. And its spent is 30 crores. So the spent, which means the cost to run. So if you see, the cost to run is 30 crores. So which means its profit is nothing but 70 crores. Sorry, the cost is 30 and the profit is 70. Okay, so this is what the first graph indicates. Okay, so this is basic. So the first graph will help us to find out the profit. Okay, and the second graph, if you look at the second graph, this is regarding the employees. So the number of employees for suppose D 2019 were already 400, but new 30 joined, which means they will have 430 employees in 2019. So the second graph shows us data regarding which like the all the companies with respect to their profits and the total employees. Let's start with the questions. Which of the four company experienced the highest annual loss in any of the years? Okay, highest annual loss in any of the 4 years. So what we have to do, we have to just find out uh, the answer with the help of first graph. Okay, so suppose revenue was 100 crores. Let us start with C. Okay, the points which we have in front of us. So this will have 70 crore as profit. So I will write it down: 19, 20, 21, A, B, C, D. Okay. So for C, the profit in 2021 is plus 70. Okay, that is which means they are profitable. So now C in 2020 is here. Okay, so which means 70 crores in revenue and 60 crores in, so they are still profitable plus 10. Okay, and finally C in 2019. So this was here. I guess this will be around 22 if I'm not wrong. Okay, I will consider this as 22. This will be 30. I will consider this as 25. Yes, 25 is correct. And their cost was 20. So they were profitable. So C won't be the answer because they were profitable all the time. Okay, they were profitable all the time. So let's move on to A. So A in 2019 over here. So which means 90 crores in revenue and 85 crores in cost. Okay, so this will leave us with plus 5. Okay, so moving on to A in 2020. So where is A in 2020? It is over here again. So 90 crores in revenue and 65 crores, which means they are again positive, that is 25. Okay, for 2021, A 2021 is over here, 60 crores ka revenue and 50 crores and 30 crores cost, which means again this is profitable. This is profitable. So these companies are not uh, incurring any losses. So A will also get cancelled out. So we have only options D, or two options D and B. So let us check for D. So D started with, let us see for D. So points for D are over here, here and here. Okay. So let us start with 2019. Their revenue was 50 and cost was 40. So 10 profitable over here. Here it will be 70 crores in the revenue and 70 crores in cost, which gives us 0 rupees. So they have, this was a quarter for them as no, oh, sorry, year for them as no profit, no loss. Similarly, let's move ahead for D in 2021. This was D in 2020. Where is D in 2020? Okay, D in 2020 is here. So 20 crores revenue, 0 will be here actually. So 20 crores in the revenue and 50 crores is the cost, so which is minus 30. So this will be plus 10 and minus 30, which is minus 20 crore loss. So this is a loss making company. So let us move ahead with B. So B in 2019 is here, 100 crores in revenue and cost is 75. Okay, so that is 25 crores profitability. So this will be over here. So in for B in 2020, so this is revenue was 90, cost was 40, yes, 50 crores Okay, and last DB in 2021 over here is 30 and 30. So this is 0. So this is also a profitable company. So the only loss making company over here is D. So this will also get cancelled out. So D is the answer. D company. Okay. The ratio of a company's annual profit to its annual cost is measure of its performance. Which of the four companies had lowest values of this ratio? Okay, company's annual profit to its annual cost. So 2019, A, B, C, D. Okay, so annual profit. So annual profit for A, B, C, D in 2019 is 5, 25, 5 and 10. Okay, so upon its annual cost. So what was the annual cost? We have to just find out the annual cost. So A ka revenue was how much in 2019? It was 90 CR. Okay, 90 CR. Then for B in 2019, it was for B in 2019 it was 100 CR. Okay, so now this will become nothing but 1 by 18. This will become 1 by 4. And for uh, cost of the annual cost. Okay, so they have asked cost. Sorry, I have written down the revenue. Okay, so let us write down the cost. For A29, the cost was around 85. So this will become 1 by 17. Okay, so now for B, the cost was in 2019 was 75. So this will become 1 by 3. For C, the cost in 2019 was 20. So this will become 1 by 4. And for D in 2019, the cost is 40. That is also 1 by 4. So 1 by 4 is okay. 1 by 4 is similar. So 1 by 3 is also not that less. So the only value which is the lowest is A. So the answer is company A. Okay. The total number of employees lost in 2019 and 2020 was the least for. Okay. So what we will do is we'll take out 2019, 2020. Okay, so we have A, B, C, D. Fine. So for A, the new so A 2019 is here. So the initial employees were 150 and additional employees were 20. Okay. So now we have 170 ka count. Okay, so I will write down again over here 1920. A, B, C, D. You have 170 ka count. In 2020, so how much we had? We had approximately 140, I guess. And the joining was how much? Uh, 35. Okay, 35. So we had 140 plus 35, we had 175. So the employees lost was least. So A can't be the option because we have gained certain employees. We have gained employees count by 5 in A. So let's move on to the next. Let's move on for B in 2019. B in 2019 here it is 2210 plus 35 join, which means we had 245. And similarly, B in 2020 was how much? Around 240 plus we had 45 employees. So again, this has gained 5, this has gained 40. Okay, we have to find the employees lost. Okay, so employees lost, we have to find out. Okay, so now uh, let's move on to C. C in 2019 was 325, again 325, same, because C was same. So there was just addition of employees. Okay, so addition of employees, that is 40 and 45. So 40 and 45. So this will become 365. This will become 370. So which means we lost a employee count of 5. And now for the final, we'll focus on D 2019, which was 400 plus 30. That is 400 plus 30, which will become 430. And uh, for 2020, it was like 410 plus how many new employees we had? 35. So this will become 445, around 445. Yes. So let's go through the data once. So see, in we had 150, 140, 210, 240, then 325, 325, 410, 410. Okay. So if you see, was the least for. So which company had the least employees lost? So if you say this had a loss of 15, so 5, which was maximum. Okay, and if you focus, this is company B. So company B lost the least because it has gained the most. Okay, so this has to be company B. Considering all 3 years, which company had the highest profit? So we have to just calculate company A, B, C, D. We have write it down. So A, B, C, D, which had the highest profit? So this had a minus 20. So this was a loss making. This was 85 profit, 85 CR. This was 75, and this was 60. So the answer should be C. Okay. So highest profit is C. That is plus 80 crores in profit. So these were the two multiple graph sets from CAT paper, that is CAT 2020. You can find this papers on the internet, and you can take this as a reference. So these are actually the DI sets are very basic sets or maybe moderate in nature, but what you have to find out is the key with respect to the total data provided, and then you have to interpret according to the conditions. So these were the two uh, graphs for today. Okay, so we'll meet in the next lecture. Okay, bye everyone.